and welcome to the K-Files this morning. JP's out today, and I have with me for his segment, faithful Captain Jeff Sherrod. Good morning.
I try to be here as much as I can.
Well, we know you're busy, and sometimes when you call and say you're working a case, well, we want you to be working a case.
Most
That's
definitely.
what you're supposed to be doing. So if you can't come, that's totally understandable. But we do appreciate your efforts. So there was a TV show that came on that featured one of your cases. Tell us about that.
So the Oxygen Network, the TV show Snapped, came down and highlighted the Deborah Dean's Kimberly Hancock case. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, you need to watch it. I think they did a great job of showing how we actually were able to solve that crime through the tip from Fighting Crime. They came down and interviewed myself, the Sheriff Capt with Fighting Crime, former Chief Medina, and several other people. And I think they did good, but the thing the TV show, in my opinion, has brought out is that more people are calling us, Franklin County Sheriff's Office, and they've been calling Capt with interest in Kimberly's brother Kojack,
right,
who's been missing since 2004.
We've talked about that case quite a bit because he is in our book that we go through and talk about the cases. So talk to us about that case.
So Kojack went missing from Franklin County in September 2004. He was actually last not seen until the previous July, but for some reason the family waited till September and reported him missing. Kojack actually lived right on the Nash-Franklin County line outside of Castalia. So when this case first originated with Franklin County, we helped them do several interviews. We've helped them do investigation parts of it. Since 2009, anytime a tip's come up, our Sheriff's Office has helped Franklin County Sheriff's Office in trying to run down rumors, tips, try to interview people. Last year we actually went around and did some searching off a tip we had, but didn't pan out for us. And I know that Franklin County is actually still working this case.
Right.
One of their investigators continues to call me whenever he gets something or hears something. And since the TV show Snap was released and that case was brought on national TV,
right,
people have been coming up to me, been calling Capt with Fighting Crime, saying, "Man, y'all got to find Kojack now."
Right.
But you know, there's always been speculations of what happened to him before. But when the TV show come out now, there's more speculations that she may have done it. So we would just love to get that tip, like we did in the Deborah Dean's case, that we could actually start with and get with Franklin County, or Franklin County get the tip however it works out, and just be able to run with it like we did with Deborah Dean's case, and be able to find him or his remains, or however it works out or plays out. But it would be huge to be able to get a tip and find him too as well.
Absolutely. You know, the more I watched it, the more intrigued you got. Oh my gosh, it was just, what a mess.
It was, and I told the guy that did the interviews with us, I said, man, we get tips all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes those tips just don't pan out. But we appreciate the tips because, it may lead us in a different direction that we hadn't looked at.
Absolutely.
But with this tip, when we got it from Fighting Crime, Kat and I were talking, and I was like, man, there's just something about this tip. So we took it and we just started working it. And as you see in the TV show, we were able to interview Kimberly's daughter, Laura, and she ended up just breaking the case for us wide open.
Wow.
Everything that the tipster had called and gave us, Laura was able to confirm and everything, because her mom had told her the night before we actually asked her to come down to the Sheriff's Office to talk to her. And she just, man, every single thing she told us that her mom had told her is exactly what happened.
Wow.
And we went to the house and we obtained a search warrant, and we started digging back there, and when we hit that carpet, it was just, I've been doing this a long time, and we hit that carpet, I knew that we had found her.
Wow.
And it was just a completely different feeling.
That was so interesting, just digging and
Oh, yeah.
my gosh.
But it's, it just, prime example that, you've said it a million times on the show. People are just mean.
Yeah.
And when you can bury somebody in your backyard and leave them back there for 15 years, that's just a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely. And then if she did, it would be mean also.
Oh, yeah.
If she continued, if she killed Kojack,
Or if
Roger.
she has any kind of involvement.
Yeah. Yeah. Roger Ayscue was his name.
Roger
right?
Ayscue is his name. Kojack's his nickname. And I know that Franklin County has a $5,000 reward out for it by themselves. And then, of course, Team Cold Case has up to $15,000. So any kind of tip would be, call the Nash County Sheriff's Office, call Franklin County Sheriff's Office, call Fighting Crime, call whoever if you have a tip with Kojack, and and just let us run with it, and hopefully we can run with it like we did with Deborah's case.
So they've got a $5,000 reward.
They do. The Sheriff's Office does.
And Team Cold Case will add up to $15,000
Correct.
to that. So think of the money
Oh, yeah.
somebody would get with that money added to it if they would call and give the tip. I mean,
And
get you some cash, because we will pay cash money from Team Cold Case. I know that.
that's what I was about to say. I don't know how their 5,000 is going to work, but
Mhm.
I know that whatever you get from Team Cold Case,
Yeah.
you're going to get within 48 hours, and it's going to be cash.
That's exactly right.
We don't wait for
No.
somebody to be found guilty in court. We don't
No.
wait for any of that stuff. We automatically pay out once the tip is worked and
Yes.
it's
It's
developed.
upon arrest.
Exactly. So
It-
it would
it
be
is-
huge for us to be able to solve that case with Franklin County, and hopefully find him. But we need that one person to call us and give us a tip.
Yes. And, I'm not going to tell you which case, but you said earlier, sometimes your tip, we've got a case right now that we're getting some tips on, and it has taken law enforcement in a totally different direction. They said, we've never worked that angle, didn't know
Exactly.
to work that angle. So any tip, nothing is too small, too large, too anything. They'll work it. If you know anything that you think is the least, well, that's insignificant, that's nothing. Don't ever feel that way, because the most insignificant thing to you might be huge to law enforcement. So they don't mind.
No.
Call them.
And I mean, it's like you said, though, unfortunately for us, we get so focused on what's right there in front of us, and
Yes.
that's what we're trying to work.
That's right.
And until we get a tip saying you need to look here, or we get some information saying that we need to look in a different spot,
Yes.
we don't know that. It's because we're so focused on what we know
The
to be
obvious.
the obvious, and we're trying to spread that out to maybe develop to get us to where we need to be.
Yes, that's
but
right.
until you call it, sometimes that tip is what we need to make us look in a different direction and be able to look at different
Yeah.
things that we hadn't looked at the whole time.
Absolutely. Well, they definitely do want to solve this case with Kojack. So somebody needs to call. I know you can see this on YouTube, you can see it on TV. So spread the word. Somebody needs to call. You can call 459-4121.
4121.
You can call, put the other numbers up there. You can even call 406-6736. And you can always call Twin County Crime Stoppers for anything, 977-1111.
And that's the good thing about working with partnerships. I mean, you can actually text Rocky Mountain, takes a tip, and
Yeah.
as soon as they get it, they will call us and say, hey, we just got this on our tip line. This is something y'all need. And I mean, so it works both ways. I mean, we get tips all the time at the sheriff's office, and we forward those to Rocky Mountain or whoever it is. So you can call whoever you feel comfortable talking to or leaving a tip with, and then we'll just forward it to whoever it needs to go to.
That's exactly right. So we hope that we will get some activity on this case. Hope you did watch the TV show because it was very interesting. So have they expressed any interest in any other cases that we might have?
Right at the beginning, they showed some interest in Lynn Keel's case, but there was,
so.
it was still going through the process of the appeals process, so we weren't able
Yeah.
to do it, and they hadn't reached back out to us since then. But I know that there was about 3 or 4 different programs or production groups that were calling the sheriff's office and wanted to talk to us about Lynn Keel's case, but we couldn't, at that time, we couldn't talk to them because it was still in the
Sure.
process of appeals.
Right.
So, and the case with Deborah Deans, it took a while to get that one through because, we just had to wait for the appeals process to be over with, so
Yeah.
they couldn't appeal it, and once that all was done, then we can release that kind of information.
Well, I think it was well done. And do you think it was, I mean, we know all about movies and how sometimes they come out and it's not really. So was everything pretty true to form?
It was. There was maybe a couple little, exaggerations.
Yeah, of
but
course.
That's to be expected.
They gotta sell it.
They gotta sell it. It's Hollywood. But the thing that impressed me, and I didn't know this until Cat with Fighting Crime called me a couple of days after there. But there was several series or different shows that came out at the same time ours did, and the Deborah Deans Kimberly Hancock case got picked as the editor's pick for that whole series. So that was pretty impressive for us as well.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, if you watched it, it was very intriguing. It was like a mystery book. Just very, you want to see, can't wait. You're like glued to the TV to see what's going to happen next. So it was well done. So we do appreciate them doing it and appreciate, the cooperation from the Sheriff's Department to do that. But anyway, we're glad that, that was solved, and we hope we can solve Kojack's as well. So, all right, other cases, we're still working on Randy Colgrove.
Still working on Randy Colgrove.
Letitia McNair.
Malik Armstrong, and that's pretty it. And of course, always Travis Lynch, who's a missing person as well.
Yes.
So,
right.
No movement in any of those. I mean, we still are working, still hoping that somebody can give us a tip to, lead us in another direction or help us with what we already have. But nothing as of yet.
Well, I was talking about the tips we were getting on another case now that's leading them in another direction. This person said, you can always get a tip years later because they said, I've been hesitating and wanting to call somebody for a long time.
Oh, yeah. And
that's how it works.
But that's what happened with Deborah Deans. I mean, 15 years, and the person finally said, I need to get this off my chest.
I can't live with this anymore.
Yeah, I need to tell you what I know. And, man, we ran with it from there, and luckily it panned out for us.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they just want to do what's right and help families get closure. So, and solve the case, of course. That's number one, to solve the case, and number two, to help families get closure. So sometimes it just weighs on you, and you just got to get rid of it. So, go ahead and get rid of it. It's anonymous. It is totally anonymous. I will not know. I don't want to know. I just want law enforcement to know so that we can solve the case. So anyway, we need your help. Well, thank you,
Yes,
Captain
ma'am.
Sherrod, for coming this morning. Good information. And we'll see you back the first, if the creek don't rise and some more cases don't come up, we will see you back here the 1st of May.
I'll be here.
All right. We'll be right back with some more cases on the K-Files.